They just don't make them like they used to, huh? 30 years since its launch on PC, the holy grail of immersive sims, System Shock, has made its way to PS4 and 5 with this slick remake. This is the first opportunity as PlayStation players have had to check out the game that inspired the likes of Prey, Deus Ex and Bioshock. And as such, piecing together its labyrinthine space station is like an entertaining history lesson. But despite its new visual glow-up, System Shock is really starting to show its age. Hello there everyone, it's Aaron here from Push Square, and this week I've been checking out the System Shock remake, so let's dive into our full PS5 review. The original System Shock launched in 1994 and shaped an entire genre. Against the evil AI Shodan, a nameless hacker must fight their way through the maze-like space station, gradually unlocking more areas in the process. Released in 2023 on PC, this remake from Night Dive Studios adds a lick of modernised paint to this classic, with a visual and gameplay overhaul that should appeal to both new and returning players alike. Now I want to start off by saying that visually, System Shock is a real treat on PS5. It sports this fascinating blended art style of both modern and retro aesthetics that perfectly embodies the original, as if Night Dive is trying to evoke what you think the game looked like back in the day. Despite having this hard-edged metallic design to its many rooms and corridors, there are refreshing pangs of vibrant colour that keep each of the game's floors feeling fresh and unique. It's topped off with a rock-solid performance on PS5 that means you can slither your way from maintenance to the executive floors without a single stutter. The first thing that you'll notice when you're playing System Shock is that it's not there to help you, like at all. This is a tough game, both through its so-so combat and its grueling space station puzzles. It's both the good and the bad of this remake, as it's invigorating to play a game that really makes you sift through its text and audio logs. Something as simple as figuring out a code may require you to visit multiple areas across various levels of the station, and you'll need to physically note down the code as the game doesn't store it for you. Playing a game with a notepad by your side is a rather niche aspect of a bygone era of gaming, but you'll undoubtedly sit up on your seat a little as System Shock challenges you this way. Finally figuring out a long sought after code or turning on the power that grants you access to a whole new level of the station is immensely gratifying. This is a game that kind of feeds off of your curiosity, where you can track the storylines of ill-fated characters and slowly piece together the puzzle of the station's AI takeover. Very rarely will System Shock spell it out for you, so if you aren't keen on sifting through reams of text, then its setting will probably come across pretty surface level. Certainly you aren't going to find environmental storytelling here like you do in Dishonored, for example, and System Shock does very little to establish a history prior to Shodan's takeover. That there is the seed of my frustration with System Shock. Since a lot of the context of the station lies in the text and audio logs, there isn't much reason to physically explore the various hallways and offices beyond the need to progress to the next level. Every now and again you'll find a new weapon or a mod kit station to upgrade your arsenal, but for the most part you'll be wandering in circles wondering what to do and where to go, and more than a few times you'll spend upwards of 20 minutes trying to gain access to a room that has very little reward inside. System Shock is littered with dead ends, which in itself is fine, but with another audio log being the big reward, it's hard not to feel unenthused at times. Looking to later examples of the genre like Bioshock or Prey, the settings feel far more important to the experience than it is here with System Shock. Exploration can also feel quite trite thanks to its grindy recycling system, where you hoard masses of junk, vaporize it to negate inventory issues, and then cart it all to a recycling station to earn a few Bitcoin. It's nice to see what is clearly the inception of the recycling system found in Prey, but it doesn't quite have the same satisfying loop. It's here too that it becomes glaringly obvious that the game is not meant to be played with a controller. Inventory management is incredibly tedious and lacks the speed or the use that you'll find with a mouse and keyboard. Frustrations carry over to the combat too, which if I'm being honest, just isn't great. To give credit where credit is due, System Shock does try to keep things fresh with the most random collection of enemies that I have ever seen. From cyborgs to floating bacteria, there's always an aspect of surprise as you encounter the next new enemy type. and things certainly improve in the combat front once you start to discover better weapons. However, the issue is that the combat never really has the weight or dynamism that you'd get in the more modern releases. Melee weapons lack impact, guns lack that oomph, and with next to no cover, you're essentially trading shots with an enemy that never misses. And this is the same in the cyberspace portions of the game too. The respawn system doesn't help things either, since any damage that you've done or enemies you've killed carry over when you respawn. There's very rarely any feeling of tension in the combat. Once you've unlocked the floor's respawn area, you can be back in action within 30 seconds. You then have a choice of either using all of your healing supplies to inch a little bit further ahead, or hoard them for the boss fights, meaning you're continually respawning, leading to some stilted progression. There's actually some varied difficulty options at the beginning of the game if things are proving to be too tough, but oddly there's no option to change this mid-game, so you can either stick with it or restart with a new save. But at the end of the day, System Shock is the faithful remake of a 30-year-old game, and you can feel that age in every facet of its being. In some ways, this is a tantalising look back at the game that started an entire genre, and if you've got that enthusiasm, that nostalgia for immersive sims like it, then it's worth checking out for that alone. However, if you lack that nostalgic connection, then System Shock is more of a showcase of how far the genre has come, rather than a spotlight on how well it's held up. System Shock may have walked so that other genres can run, but for me, that walk is just a little too slow. Thank you everyone for checking out our review of System Shock on the PlayStation 5. Let me know if you're still planning on picking it up down in the comments below, and while you're there, remember to leave a like and even better, subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content. Anyway, until next time, I've been Aaron and this has been Push Square.